Globus-enabled systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus.
Man, if you got that shit, you might as well light it up. Show your hood some love. You know what I mean? This Crowd Killer, MC Pine, Freak Show affiliated.
It's the Prodigy, the big dog,
right.
bitch.
Yeah.
Hood hippies, here we go, down this road, dreads locked tight to my soul, rolling up the dro, loading up the fofo, staying high from the sunny days to the snow. A hippie in the zone, yo, the hood we call it home. But hippies, here we go, down this road, dreads locked tight to my soul, rolling up the dro, loading up the fofo, staying high from the sunny days to the snow. A hippie in the zone, yo, the hood we call it home. Dreads hanging low to expose my soul, light me up the dro, hatch you to your fucking dome, then smoke some mo. Chuck T's hanging out blocks, banging and ain't nothing fucking changes at the time of the clock in the game that we playing. Somebody getting got, nope, not me. Got shadows with the shotties to remove souls from bodies, decayed and rotting, constantly grave plotting. From my mind godly, so don't think it oddly when your tracks chase hotties. And mine got me headed past the lobby to the penthouse to bury my face on the ass of Margot Robbie. 1 blunt, 2 blunt, 3 blunt, fuck. It's a wonder my brain hasn't had enough dopamine, constantly making me numb. 4 blunt, 5 blunt, 6, oh shit. 21 joints now, yo, my mind is a myth. Better heat up the dab rig, hop in the whip, cause it's time to hit a lick. Hood hippies, here we go, down this road, dreads locked tight to my soul, rolling up the dro, loading up the fofo, staying high from the sunny days to the snow. A hippie in the zone, yo, the hood we call it home. But hippies, here we go, down this road, dreads locked tight to my soul, rolling up the dro, loading up the fofo, staying high from the sunny days to the snow. A hippie in the zone, yo, the hood we call it home. Woke up my brother just to show him the peace, and then I smoked his ass out to put him right back to sleep. With the 4-5 tucked in a fat bag of green, I'm about to go and hit the block just to make ends meet. Yeah, I'm popping locks on these motherfucking cars again. Once they unlock, then you know I'm fucking hopping in. I take them for a spin, you know I'm putting smoke in them. A young hood hippie bitch, I'm a hooligan. Probably should spark a blunt and go and change my mood again. I'm feeling hella angry, dog, I don't know what I'll do to them. I'm elusive and Lucifer is my newest friend. Until the end, I'll be standing on your neck again. Hood hippies, here we go, roll the dro, load up that fofo, let's go hit that road, bro. Take a fat dab, cause of me and homie going low. FSA is so bold, kill your ass on the low. But hippies, here we go, down this road, dreads locked tight to my soul, rolling up the dro, loading up the fofo, staying high from the sunny days to the snow. A hippie in the zone, yo, the hood we call it home. But hippies, here we go, down this road, dreads locked tight to my soul, rolling up the dro, loading up the fofo, staying high from the sunny days to the snow. A hippie in the zone, yo, the hood we call it home.
Nobody said it would be easy. Nobody said that it would all be fine. up before you, oh, they hold the line. They wanna tell you you're already free, but these chains on and rob you blind. When they co-opt the movement, don't trip, just hold the line. Hold the line. Hold the line. Hold the line. Don't pay 'em no mind. Hold the line. You gotta stay steadfast, tread lightly, 'cause they looking for a reason to knock you down, but you can't ask too politely. In the trenches, you gotta get loud and hold the line. Hold the line. Don't pay 'em no mind.
Each system did away with a free press. Free press. Free press. Free press.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and envies of all ages, the Generation X proudly brings to you your heavyweight tag team champions of the world. What up, though? Is it something you want to share here, Arun, or later on in Discord? What up, though? Roger that. Probably like right after stream then. So how's everybody doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. And sorry, chat, it's super secret and we can't share it with you. But eventually you'll know. Possibly. Maybe. Probably. But later. Not all secrets are secrets you share with the entire class. It's just the nature of, you know. But I all I can tell you is that it's for the general good, right? Our chat. Oh, Arun, you're being a tease though. Like so anyway. So if there's a problem, y'all gotta take it up with Arun, all right? Um, I wanted to do something, but I didn't end up having time to do it, so I didn't do it. But if you go look up the Philip DeFranco show from yesterday, if you were in Paradigm's chat, you watched it. But if you look at the Philip DeFranco, excuse me, show from yesterday, and in the part that he's talking about TMZ and Britney Spears, and then just take that section and apply it to Twitch drama, and that 100% that done. Moving on. Why is Derek Chauvin trending? Derek Chauvin is appealing his murder conviction. And I definitely don't recommend that you click on the Derek Chauvin trending in the United States, because the tweets are exactly what you would expect them to be. Holy shit. We learned absolutely nothing. Let's see. I think that's it for old news. Yeah. I don't think we... No, we did cover that one. Okay, so... Twitter stuff related to the AI. Before we get into any videos or anything else, we're going to take a look at some of this. Okay. This is from a few days ago. Yeah, I'm taking their word for it that this is legit, and when I look at some details, I tend to believe that it is legit. Midjourney is getting crazy powerful. None of these are real photos, and none of the people in them exist. And if we zoom in here, I mean, this one looks pretty good. This one has the weird finger thing, right? And then whatever the hell is going on here, right? And then like this tiny middle finger, and the thumb is on the wrong side, right? So yeah, either they shop that in to prove a point, or is legit. And then both the camera and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 estimated fingers. So still working on hands, still got some work to do. But this camera is dope. Like, I don't know what it is, but it is amazing looking. I want the camera. And the other thing, now we're gonna do a thing, and okay, so here's another one. You look down here, you see the figures. Another thing that I want you to look at is these teeth, right? Now you're not gonna be able to unsee this, so brace yourself. But like, there's something very, like, all the teeth are the same kind of teeth, you know? I mean, and this person is Tom Cruise tooth, right? But like beyond that, they're all like the same. So that was the thing. And then I had to be specific in order to get male looking AI people. And even then, variation is a challenge. It definitely defaults to white people when you ask for people. And we've already gone over why that's the case. But look at these. And again, I mean, the truth is in the fingers. And then we have fingers coming off the arm here, right? But these guys all definitely have a vibe about them, right? So many fingers. Definitely a vibe. I love this out of focus dude in the back. But okay, so the humor notwithstanding, right? I mean, this person, right? This is, you could see this person somewhere, right? Like this is a person-y looking person. You know, these guys are definitely more like, there is a model, like a magazine kind of vibe to them, but they are still person-y looking persons. You can recognize some truth within these stories, right? Never minding the anti-gravity shot glasses or whatever we're doing here, minus the details. That's pretty damn impressive. So many teeth. And that's it. But I thought this was really interesting for like both good and bad reasons, you know. Like the idea of being able to simulate photographs from, like, I mean, all these have like the lighting and the exposure has like a 1980s kind of quality to it. And I think that's cool. That, like, again, being able to, like, you know, if I, for instance, like, like my mom passed away when I was 19, and for a variety of reasons, there's not a lot of pictures that exist with me and her in the same picture. And the idea of being able to take like a picture of me and a picture of her and run it through some sort of AI generator to create a picture that could have existed. I find that, you know, is a very attractive thing. And you know, I see potential in this as well. Also, like from the framework of how I said about the fully AI generated movie kind of thing. I think you're gonna continue to see this kind of thing grow. So to start off with, I am definitely in the role-playing game, the RPG pen and paper role-playing game. I am definitely not a fan of D&D. I am not a fan of D&D the game, right? I don't think it's good. I know that a lot of people play it and a lot of people enjoy it, but I have, like, I mean, I can go upstairs and get you 4 different RPGs. We'll get to that in a second. Right now, I'm focusing on the game aspect of it. What's up, UD? What's up, Minnie? Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, that's 100% the case. But like what I'm saying is that there are better RPGs to play with while you're doing the socialization, right? Beyond even like like if you wanted a dungeon crawler to play while you're hanging out with people, I'd recommend something like Descent, right? Descent is a board game, but it has the ability, and this is going to relate to what this person's saying, is that there are some of these games where the game runs itself and the players play against the game in a co-op fashion. In board gaming, this is common as hell. There are bunches of these different kind of games. One that I have upstairs is the XCOM board game, which is based off the video game. The only downside to that is that it requires an app, and if they ever decide to stop supporting the app, then you're shit out of luck, because there's literally no rules in the game on how to play without the app in order to drive it. And there are advantages to, a app-driven board game of that type. But like upstairs, the Game of Thrones role playing game is very good, very good. I have one for The Expanse, which is neat. I haven't had a chance to play it. I have one based. If you know anything about comics, there's a group called The Authority, and I like The Authority, right? And there's a role-playing game based on The Authority, and The Authority, and it's like superheroes, right? Like it's ultra powerful, ultra violence, kind of like super like crazy kind of shit, and it's cool. What else do I got? I got the Robotech Macross role-playing game from Palladium Games, right? So if I wanted, to run some, transformable robots in anime, boom, got that. On the computer, I have Cyberpunk, the same Cyberpunk that was used for the framework for the game. I have that, and then Shadowrun that I got from Aston Mac, and we're going to be setting up a time to play some Shadowrun. But like he's very busy. I am busy as shit lately, so I haven't had a chance to add on anything. But these are like, I would recommend any of those. Right? There's Pathfinder. If you want something that's like D&D but better, fucking Pathfinder is good. You go on DriveThruRPG right now, you can get a shit ton of free Starfinder. Starfinder is Pathfinder in space. Like the I can't remember the name of the TSR space thing, but these things exist. What was nice about the Palladium RPGs is that the Palladium RPGs all go together. They all use the same framework. So if like one character wants to play a magic wielding wizard and another player wants to play like fucking Iron Man and another player wants to like do some superhero shit, you can accommodate all that, which is something I loved about Palladium. But Palladium is it takes an entire day to create a character, and that is challenging to a lot of people. But like the Palladium system, like if you have a skill, your skill has a percentage to it, and you roll that fucking percentage, and it's nice and it's elegant and it's simple and it makes sense. D&D doesn't make any goddamn sense. The fact that I have a level 1 wizard and I know these spells, but if I use these spells, then they take up a spell slot and I can't use them again until I have a long rest, which long rest is 8 hours. If I take a short rest, it's so dumb, right? It's unnecessarily complex. I'm not a fan of it. Now, again, if you look in the D&D books towards the beginning, like all role-playing games, they basically tell you these rules are a framework. You do what you want to do. You do what makes you happy. You enjoy yourself. That is the purpose of role-playing games. And like Arun said, it's about the socialization. It's about hanging out with some people and doing a thing. And depending on what you like is when you can get into with like your best groups are always going to be where the players and the DM are all on the same page regarding how the story is going to be run, not what's in it, but like how it's going to be run. And everyone's down to have a good time more than they are to drive into the rules, right? Because if rules, lawyers can be a problem. So, and just leave it at that. But, Yodano here, a sentence I never thought I'd have to say. I will never, ever, in capitals, play a game of #D&D with an AI bot dungeon master. The game is a backdrop for me and my friends, and the table and the DM is the centerpiece. Wizards of the Coast, that's a foul. D&D for me is a chance to develop acting skills, create lore together, and get some creative release going. I hate every version of D&D after AD&D. And that's what I'm saying. Is like I'm not judging a single person who enjoys D&D. I have no like you do you it's your food. Eat it however tastes good to you. You know, and I agree. Like when I run a game, I lean heavily into the storytelling. I want players to tell me what they want to do and do it. And I definitely I give a shit about what level character you are. I'm more concerned about everyone having a good time and like starring in their own little movie. This is what I want, right? You gotta do. Thank you, UD. But like the way that this person comes at it, like again, I can go upstairs and I can get you a copy of the board game Descent, or I can get you a copy of XCOM, and they are driven by some sort of bot. Okay, I can go upstairs and I can get you actually right over there because I moved all my games downstairs. There's a game called Pendragon, right? Which is it's a coin game and it's like a deep war game kind of thing, but it contains within it the ability. It has 4 players, right? But I can replace any single one of those players with a bot, and I could replace all of them with a bot, and I could just move the pieces for the game to play itself. So, me not having anyone to play that game with, I can play that game with 3 bots and be happy. If I happen to have someone take an interest, now it's 2 bots and 2 players, and everyone is still happy. One of the hardest things to do in playing D&D is to find the DM. The DM has the most pressure on them, right? And I'm glad that Yodano has a DM that they play with who is there with them. They've got their group, and that's wonderful, and I love it. Love it. Go Yodano. But not everyone has that. And especially when you have people who are like separate from each other. Now, people playing on the internet through Discord, through Twitch, solves a lot of those problems. But even then, if you have played D&D on Twitch or on Discord, it is a challenge to get everyone together at the same time and be available and have the time to participate in the thing. Now, you can attempt to coordinate the 4, 5, 6 people that it takes to create a D&D session, or you can take the couple of people that you have, fire up the bot, and be playing. That's what I don't like about this tweet. It's not a foul. It is another tool that could be used, and I think has the potential to increase the popularity of the game and not whatever this person. So, sorry, dude. It does not look like a good hill to die on. Yeah. Yeah, and okay, Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is I don't know, kind of looking forward to it. That's a video game, though, right? Like, here we go. So maybe they get it. Maybe they started to piece it out. Because this is what happens. Is you fire off a tweet, you fire off your spicy tweet, and then maybe you figure it out after the fact. Who knows? Enough about Yodano. I wish him nothing but the best. Unless he's a bastard, and then fuck him. This one. So Tesla engineer says the company faked full autopilot video. Okay. So back in 2016, they released a video that showed the Teslas driving along, through a neighborhood. And they said that, no one did anything to interfere. The Tesla did it itself. And there's like a whole fuck ton of things that turn out to not be correct about that. They previously mapped out the route. Drivers, in fact, did intervene over the course of the trip, all this other crap, right? So, all those people who have said that autopilot, that they engaged in the autopilot and it did something weird. That may in fact be exactly the case. Because it never worked. What's good though is that the government is investigating this. And I want to know what they're going to find. Because I need to know if these people, like that 8-car, 9-car pileup in the tunnel in San Francisco, if there's any way in the Tesla that they can tell that information. Now, my understanding is there's not a, what up, Barberlin? Is there's not a black box, right? There's not something that is secured from all outside intervention. There's just maybe some kind of like some indicator of what was done when. Which I think you would kind of need in order for it to understand that, you know, to like get better at it, kind of thing. But yeah, Elon Musk, beyond being just a general fucking shitheel and fucking up like a lot of stuff intentionally, like he has done more damage to automation, I think, than anyone who's anti-automation, because he goes too hard. He doesn't stick with what works, you know, and he talks a lot of shit, and his cult of personality lets him get away with it. This is the kind of bullshit I'm concerned about. Because again, as I said before on numerous occasions, I am a fan of automated driving. Long haul trucking should be done by automation, right? I like cars, I like trains, I like all that type of infrastructure, but there will still be shit that has to go from a place where there's not a train to some sort of distribution warehouse, right? Like, or directly to the store, right? Like the truck goes to the grocery store and it unloads all the groceries for the grocery store. You're still going to have that. You're not going to run the train to every single grocery store. You're going to have some sort of part of that. Now, again, my idea of the buses that form a train could work with automated trucks that form a train. And then the train runs with the automated trucks. And then the trucks pull off the train. And then they go and they do their deliveries. And then they form like Voltron on the way back. If it happens, you know where you heard it. It works with buses. It works with trucks. Just a whole fuck ton of shit we got to accomplish, like automated driving. Because people are terrible at driving. I don't care what anyone says. So that's news. Now we got that out of the way. We did that. One video we didn't get to Monday. Today is Wednesday. Was another a video from the Pew Research Center regarding
Nicholas,
the ethics of human enhancement. We did talk about like using CRISPR and things like that in order to genetically enhance people, and cybernetics in order to physically enhance people. But we didn't get to this aspect of it, and I wanted to touch on that. So that's what we're going to watch.
imagine a computer chip implanted in your brain that would allow you to instantly access and process mountains of information.
Again, not Neuralink, because again, Elon Musk has no idea what he's doing and has done serious damage to the PR aspects of all these technologies.
What if you could reprogram your genetic code to virtually eliminate serious illness, or even replace your blood with a lab-made version that gives you the speed, strength, and stamina of Captain America? Thanks to cutting-edge scientific developments, these things may one day be possible. In fact, humanity may be on the cusp of what some are calling an enhancement revolution. Emerging technologies, from brain chips to synthetic blood to sophisticated methods of gene editing, are already being developed and may give way to opportunities to make our minds sharper and our bodies stronger and healthier than ever before. In the future, we may never need to sleep and never fear disease. So will these emerging technologies take humanity in a positive direction? The answer depends on who you ask. Many futurists are optimistic, describing these technological breakthroughs as springboards to not only healing people, but taking control of our species' development and improving humanity. But critics say human enhancement may lead to people who are no longer physically or even psychologically human. They also believe these changes will increase inequality and other social tensions, and argue that even minor enhancements may end up doing more harm than good. Either way, we may not have a choice. As author and ethicist Nicholas Agar says, we are no longer living at a time when we can say we either want to enhance or we don't. We are already living in an age of enhancement. But how do Americans feel about the possibility of changing our human capabilities? Our new survey finds that more than 6 in 10 U.S. adults are worried about the use of brain chip implants, synthetic blood, and gene editing to enhance human abilities. Far fewer say they are enthusiastic. Majorities say that brain and blood enhancements that would result in improved cognitive or physical abilities far above that of any known human to date would be taking the technology too far. About half feel the same way about gene editing technology aimed at improving health. Many predict these emerging technologies will become available before they've even been fully tested or understood. And most expect these enhancements will intensify inequality, because only the wealthy would be able to afford them. There are also differences along religious lines. Highly religious people are less likely to want each of these enhancements, and most view them as meddling with nature. Despite their concerns, many Americans expect these kinds of technological innovations to reach fruition. For instance, roughly half the population thinks implanted computer chips will be commonplace within 50 years. Looking back for a moment, people for thousands of years have been dreaming about making themselves smarter and stronger. Until recently, those ideas have largely been left to the realm of myth and fantasy. If significant enhancements become reality, however, experts think they will undoubtedly alter human society in profound ways, even allowing human beings to direct their own evolution. But first, we have to grapple with a very important question. Should we?
And that ultimately is the question. It's like, you know where I stand. I would take my brain and transplant it into the robot body tomorrow if I could do it, and do it happily and like that. I'm good. But like they said, these technologies are, at least in the beginning, going to be the playground of the wealthy, the people with access. And if you haven't seen Don't Look Up, I highly recommend that you do. It's a movie. Well, that's the question, right? Like, I mean, if you're paying for, like if you've ever played Cyberpunk, either the, RPG or the video game, then there are these ideas of like low quality cybernetics and stuff affecting the individual in question. And it's been touched on in a variety of science fiction. You know, is like anything else, that the poor will have access to substandard versions of the whatever. So yes, no, I don't want the low quality, you know, the shitty ass robot body. You know, I don't want to be. I still would like to be humanoid, like I like the iRobot body. You know, that's cool. That's what I would like. If I get my druthers, which I won't, right? Unless I do, and then please and thank you. So, but by no stretch of the imagination do I feel that it should be like that any of these things should be forced on anyone. Right? The ethical concerns start there. It's like you cannot force people to be other than they are, right? You cannot edit their genes. You cannot provide them with cybernetics. You can't do any of that stuff at the barrel of a gun or the coercive element of government / capitalism to do these kind of things. Which is like, I can imagine nightmare scenarios because the majority of science fiction is based on some kind of nightmare scenario. Very rarely are these things dealt with in our literature and pop culture in a positive way. They are usually the negative way. Like the Alien, if you've ever seen Alien, yeah, or a subscription model, yeah, that'd be great. Like being I have no mouth yet, I'm a scream trapped in a brain box. Sounds lovely. Well, Alien, right? In Alien, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, it's almost as old as I am, so I'm gonna say that's on you at this point. One of the bad guys in the movie is an android working on behalf of the corporation. This kind of trope plays itself out across the board, right? Like where the robots, to an extent, like Star Wars, the prequels, right? Order 66. The clones are, for thematic purposes, basically robots. They follow the orders of the government. They execute Order 66. They kill all the Jedi who are ostensibly the good guys, but I would argue that point. But they behave as robots. In iRobot, right? Which has nothing to do with the Isaac Asimov book of the same name, and I highly recommend you read that book and not see that movie, because the movie is, is just more of the same. It's, like Terminator. It's such low effort. Just, that's what irritates me when they do stuff like that, is when they take away everything that made the book a thing and then just took the name, and now you've ruined both things, right? You didn't just make some changes. You just threw the entire thing out and put a different name on it. It's like, what's wrong with you? Anyways, the point being is that the narrative of the non-human is coupled with the narrative of our own self-creating, created impending demise, right? The robots serve as a stand-in for like climate change, right? The what you call it? The dinosaur movie, Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is about man's hubris and creating the thing, and then it gets out of hand and destroys us all. You know, again, this is a stand-in for things like climate change and, you know, weapons of war and nuclear weapons and all these kind of things where they don't have to be that way. Like, I would like more science fiction that where the science fiction is the backdrop, right? Like, you're telling a good story, but the science aspect of it is not the villain. You know what I mean? Like, any anime with giant robots doesn't generally view the science as the villain, because the science is what gives them these transforming robots to, you know, fight the aliens who are coming on, or whatever the fuck Gundam is about. You know, shit like that. Like, there are ways to tell good stories and just use the science fiction as a backdrop rather than as part of the antagonist. And there needs to be more of that. I think that, yeah, no, like, I started watching some Gundam, but it is like it's a whole thing, you know, and I'm a dubs not subs guy, and there's just a whole bunch of, you know, caveats to do that. But like, I have nothing negative to say about Gundam, as far as I can tell. Anyone who likes it does good things about it, like that. Like that, there is some deep storytelling to it. But that's the point. Is like, there needs to be more of that, not like iRobot or whatever, you know, like The Expanse. If you've ever seen the show The Expanse used science fiction as a backdrop rather than as the antagonist. It was telling the same story of, you know, working class folks versus government entities versus alleged, you know, revolutionaries, and when confronted with some super science aspect of it that was a threat, they were able to resolve it through being themselves, right? And like, all the threats dealt with that are the super science threats are dealt with through negotiation, because the super science is so much bigger than you that you can't fight it. You have to talk to it and get it to feel a certain kind of way. And that's only a spoiler for like the first 2 seasons. And if you haven't seen The Expanse, you should see the goddamn Expanse. It is so good. So good. So yeah, that's what, like, I just want to see more of that. And speaking of which, what up, little Donny Fun? Well, okay, so the difference between The Expanse and Star Trek is what I have both referred to and what I myself refer to as like the difference between Expanse, Alien, you know, those kind are like working class science fiction. In the future, we have all this high technology and doing stuff, but they're still working class people working shitty ass jobs trying to make a buck and get by, right? And then you have fully automated luxury gay space communism, bougie type science fiction like Star Trek, where they have replicators and, the whole reminds me Arkady and Boris Strugatsky. Do 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 do. Arkady and Boris Strugatsky. Dead Russians. Dead. Art critic, teacher, Jewish, Christian Orthodox, drafted Soviet Army. Noon Universe. The main characteristics of the Noon Universe are a very high level of social, scientific, and technological development, creativity of the general population, and the very significant level of societal maturity compared to the modern world. For instance, this world knows no monetary stimulation. Indeed, money does not exist, and every person is engaged in a profession that interests him or her. The Earth of the Noon Universe is governed by a global meritocratic council composed of world's leading scientists and philosophers. That Noon World had been clearly named as World of Communism in their novels, was handy for publishing their novels in the USSR, where the Communist Party decided whether a book would be printed and approved for mass circulation. Yeah. What do we got? I think that's one of the reasons I like that show. It felt more, realistic. Yeah, there is to a certain extent, I want a fully automated luxury gay space communism that Star Trek offers. I can see the working class science fiction that the Expanse offers. Of course, it's more realistic, doesn't take place hundreds of years in the future, and depicts humanity just a few decades from now, basically. Yeah. Stalker is partially based on one of their stories, which kept them relevant. It's some of their short stories that really got to me, though. I do love a good short story. I much prefer Stephen King's short stories to any of his novels across the board. And Star Trek literally wanted to show a utopian society where everybody was equal and welcome, which is why it's woke AF, but apparently only since the 2009 Trek reboot made it come out. Yeah. Yeah. So that's cool. This period, the 1950s to the early 70s, is when some of the best science fiction was written. The foundational books on which a lot of modern science fiction rest, and that's where you get Star Trek from, is from that same time period. So yeah, no, I will definitely see what I can do about checking some of that stuff out. Oh la la la! And speaking of Star Trek, so one of my pet theories is that the Borg suffer from a branding issue. And then they introduced, of course, the Borg Queen, which makes it an entirely different kind of, evil monster experience where, initially the Borg are a collective, right? Now there are, of course, some issues with the Borg where they destroy, the races that they run into while they're, assimilating their technology. But like the fact that they are like green and black and very dark looking, especially in comparison to the brightness of the Federation, I think went to the detriment, they are Swedish. Beware the Swedes. They have come to assimilate us all. If they came like, in like, instead of black and green, if they were like gold and white, right? And if they, instead of that, multiple voices going, resistance is futile and all that shit, if they were like, we are the Borg, we would like to add your uniqueness to our own. And if they came like Jesus instead of coming like the Borg, then I think they would have gotten a lot more volunteers, right? Like, especially if your society, some of these societies that they run into in Star Trek, these people are barely hanging on. And if they came in, yeah, like I watched Picard season 2 and it didn't stick in my brain. It was like, Galaxy Quest, never give up, never surrender. Words to live by. So anyways, we're going to watch a video on, are the Borg really actually the good guys? And I'm going to assume that this is good in good faith and they're not going to be weird. But if we get to anything weird, like, I didn't pre-watch, I'm not pre-watching Andy, but I think this goes hand in hand because this is one of the potential futures of a singularity, as I was talking about it on Monday, is where technology and our, human physical forms like meld, like that each part does what it does best, and we are greater than the sum of the total. Janeway. I feel different ways about Janeway depending on what episode I'm watching. Picard. Picard got thrown in front of the Borg by Q, and again, that's the fault of that branding issue and the whole Locutus thing. Again, if they came different, if they didn't come forceful and instead came offering, I think that they could have gotten more accomplished. And Cisco's a badass. And was it next year begin the riots that create the Bell riots? Next year. So, let's fire this bad boy up.
Space, the final frontier. These are the continuing voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
The challenge is to improve yourself, to enrich yourself.
Your life, as it has been, is over. From this time forward, you will service us.
That is the exploration that awaits you. Not mapping stars and studying nebula, but charting the unknown possibilities of existence.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Truck Show. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the Borg. The Borg is most famously the arch enemy of the Federation, especially in the TNG era. We're going to be talking a little bit about an interesting theory that my cousin Brian has about the Borg that I think that we should definitely have a discussion about. Just quickly, I wanted to say that, you know, we don't know too much about the origins of the Borg, although I have taken a look at a few interesting facts, most notably that the Borg are only about 1,000 years old, according to what I've researched. You know, the Borg have obviously been a very powerful force in the Delta Quadrant and have expanded over the years into the Alpha and have attempted to attack Earth, or at least the Federation, at least twice. Of course, with the Battle of Wolf 359, Sector 001, which took place in First Contact, in the beginning of First Contact with the Enterprise E. Little is known about the Borg other than they're very powerful. We know that they have a queen. Actually, I guess you could say multiple queens, because we have, of course, a queen in First Contact, and we also have a queen in Voyager, which both were destroyed. There's still a lot to know about the Borg, and especially with their origin, I think that it's interesting to look into that and exactly what the Borg are all about. First Contact, the Borg traveled through time along with the Enterprise E.
Yeah. That's definitely an aspect that, like, our own history goes back, you know, what, like 250,000 years, you know. So you got to pick a starting point somewhere, and the point at which they become a spacefaring race is as good a point as any.
Went back the ending of World War III on Earth, which they attempted to assimilate Earth, which obviously failed. We know in First Contact that they had sent a signal out to contact the Borg in that era. And perhaps I think there's a theory that particular signal is what attracted the Borg into the Alpha Quadrant in the first place. Of course, that's a theory, but it's an interesting one. Of course, we have the leftovers of Borg technology, particular actual living Borg, which we saw in Enterprise. And of course, we have probably the biggest threat to the Borg, Species 8472 from Voyager.
I watched Enterprise. I can't say I watched every episode because I hated it, and I was just trying to get through it for the knowledge. I didn't know that there were Borg in Enterprise. But this species, I love this species. I love the concept of liquid space. I loved everything about them. I thought they were great, and I thought they were underutilized, and basically completely forgotten about. Theories out the door once the Borg were given transwarp, since they can go around the galaxy near instantaneously, etc. Yeah, I mean, again, plot holes abound when you use magic things, you know, in your science fiction. Like, the entire concept of faster than light travel changes a whole bunch of dynamics, and then you have to, like, hold that concept up with things that don't exist, you know. That's always a problem.
I'm assuming that they were probably the only species to be a major threat to the Borg. Other than, I mean, the Federation has taken a lot of damage from the Borg, but have also been able to go toe-to-toe with them from time to time. With that being said, I could list facts all day, but let's get into the theory. Brian, you mentioned an interesting theory to me, and I'd like to get your take on that.
Sure. Well, they're always portrayed as the villain, the antagonist, but my theory is that they're not evil. They're not necessarily the bad guys. They are opposite to the Federation and how they go about what they do by forcing assimilation on others, but I don't think they do it with evil intent. In fact, in many ways, they're pretty much exactly the same as the Federation. They go about their business a bit differently, and that's my theory. The way we can look at it is, what does the Federation do when they explore through space? They meet people, they learn about their cultures. Everyone in Roddenberry's utopian.
Yeah, and the Dominion is literally the opposite of the Federation, and it's also like why my favorite Star Trek is my current favorite Star Trek is Discovery. I love it, and my second favorite now is Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine was so good, especially once they got to like the Dominion War. It felt like something. There was a bunch of hokey shit like teaching the aliens to play baseball that I could live without. But yeah.
In society, everyone has a place, everyone has value, everyone's important whether they're disabled or not. Gender, color, race, species, doesn't matter. Everyone's important. One has something to contribute. And if you look at it like that, the Borg really aren't any different. Everyone matters. They don't wantonly kill people. They try to assimilate them. They take the best of everyone's culture and they bring it into their own. They look after their sick. In fact, they do better. They replace sick parts with machine parts. Everyone has an education because they're all educated by the Borg Collective. Everyone's equal. I don't think the bad guys, from their point of view, they're doing what they think is best, and they think it's best that everyone gets upgraded and has a place, just like the Cybermen that they ripped off from Doctor. And yes, I had to throw a Doctor Who comment in there.
Of course. It's interesting that you should bring up about an education, per se, because one of the facts that I had looked up that the Borg actually, all the information that they take in, they retain all the way from the beginning of their origins. And from every culture that they have ever assimilated, they've retained that information. Now, how exactly they incorporate that into their society, I think is up for debate, because
Borgs are overrated. Just continually modulate the wavelength of your phasers, and their shields are useless. That Next Generation plot point always struck me as a bit cheap. Yeah, like, okay, like, how about just regular shields then? You know, like, can't we layer the shields? Like when you, I mean, yes, they adapt, but at the same time, they don't adapt to the general principle of remodulating your phasers, right? Like that always is the thing. But I kind of feel like that was a bit of lazy writing. It's the Superman problem. Okay. The reason that Superman, okay, we're getting off on a tangent, but we'll take a minute. The reason why Superman is a problem to create movies around is because he's fucking Superman, right? If you have a functionally perfect flying hero, who's he gonna fight? Right? Like, what's the story? Stories function on putting the protagonist in some sort of peril, right? So it generally, you have to create like Doomsday. You got to go with the next level villain. But if Doomsday is powerful enough to kill Superman, then, you know, it is but for a fluctuation that he just wipes out the entire DC universe. When you invent something as difficult as the Borg, you have to insert some kind of plot hole in order to, like, to fix it so that they can be beaten. And I'm with you on the nano stuff. Again, like, why do they have one big weird arm with the fucking little scanner thingies on it? Like it's intentionally goes out of its way to make them like unattractive, right? When they could just not be like that very easily.
Because, you know, we see the Borg as, I mean, maybe this is just coming from the view of the Federation. They appear to be mindless automatons. Like you say, they don't discriminate when it comes to assimilation and I guess you could say perfecting their existence. Although I would argue that, yes, that is true, that they, you know, that is their purpose, is that they want to perfect their existence and knowledge of the universe, taking in information from all these cultures. The major factor here is that they force this onto other cultures. They do it violently, and they, you know, this includes kidnapping, like abduction, very traumatic and very violent way of doing this. And basically the Borg say that, well, this is for your own good. This is to improve your life. The Borg, because they're independent and they feel that this is the right way to go and they're going to force their way onto these cultures. So I'm just curious, Brian, what your response to that is. You know, if the Borg were asking people to join or asking cultures to join rather than taking them by force, I think there's a difference there. What would you say to that?
Oh, I agree. There is. It's a big difference, and that's the rift. The Federation gives species the choice: do you want to join the Federation or not? The Borg doesn't give that choice. But from the Borg's point of view, they feel that that upgrade that they receive, that collective knowledge, is a superior way to live, and it's a better way to live. Work together to make, in their opinion, a better society. So I don't think they're motivated evilly. I think their motivations I would consider to be definitely amoral. But from their point of view, they're not doing anything wrong. They legitimately want the best for everybody, and that's the way to do it. And that's why I don't think that they're evil. I think from the Federation's point of view, what they do is evil, but I don't think in themselves they're evil. I don't think that they're going in, like, say, the Daleks would, that would just kill everything that's unlike them. They're not like that at all. They legitimately want what's best for everybody. And there was one thing that you had brought up earlier I wanted to just quickly address, how all that they were like 1,000 years old, and every species that they...
And, well, that was the thing with the Borg. They aren't evil. That was kind of the point of them. What they do is evil, but they aren't evil. I think that they broke away from that by introducing, like, the Borg Queen, right? Because the Borg Queen is different. Because the Borg Queen is, like, still human. You know what I mean? The Borg Queen does a, you know, like the Borg Queen retains her own personality, and, you know, she's like all being sexy with Data and all sorts of stuff like that, where like the rest of the Borg are presented being relatively emotionless. And therefore it's like, again, it's they, right. You know, now it's a dictatorship, right? Like, where, yeah, everybody might be doing great, but there's still a hierarchy to be maintained. Yeah, and like that. I'm not gonna lie, this video is kind of sleeper. This is not what I expected. Because again, this is the downside of not pre-watching. So yeah, I think we're gonna move on from that. Do 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 do. Oh, another piece of news. Another piece of news. Did I save this piece of news? I thought I did. Oh, no, I saved it somewhere else. One moment. This. So the concern over, you know, the way that Stable Diffusion in particular goes about its business, right? Like it's scraping. It ran afoul of a company, right? A corporation with money. And now that has it's going to, whatever comes out of this is going to change the way that this game is played, right? In a press statement shared with The Verge, the stock photo company said it believes that Stability AI unlawfully copied and processed millions of images protected by copyright to train its software, and that Getty Images has commenced legal proceedings in the High Court of Justice in London against the firm. And again, legal rules are different in different places, and that and when you have these worldwide companies and not worldwide companies doing worldwide things, that's where you're going to run into these kind of issues. And then different companies or different countries have different laws regarding IPs and copyright and everything else. And you need to take that into consideration when you do stuff like this. And again, the issue here especially is the driver of that letter is Stability AI use of intellectual property of others absent permission or consideration to build a commercial offering of their own financial benefit. Right? We don't believe this specific deployment of Stability's commercial offering is covered by fair dealing in the UK or fair use in the US. The company made no outreach to Getty Images to utilize our or our contributors' material, so we're taking an action to protect our and our contributors' intellectual property rights. So the issue here is the fact that they went to create their own financial benefit. Had this been something that was released like open source and free and that people could use it, this may or may not have ever come up. But because they decided to make money off it, then you're going to run into issues with other people regarding IPs and copyright. Getty Images CEO Peters compares the current legal landscape in the generative AI scene to the early days of digital music, where companies like Napster offered popular but illegal services before new deals were struck with license holders like music labels. Notice the license holders are not the artists. So I will think that, like, again, as far as I'm concerned, Stable Diffusion is still hot garbage. It's not good at what it does. It's just super weird. I think Midjourney is much better at what it does. And now they have Stability has an opt-out system rather than an opt-in system, which is always going to cause you problems with the people involved. And there's also going to be some issues regarding, like, if you're only using things that are fully in the commons and then you create, like, it requires you to get into definitions of whether or not things like Stability AI and Midjourney and whatnot, whether or not they're actually creating something new, and then, like, defining what all those words mean. Which is what, we're arguing about both on the internet and in this. Very true. I don't get how an opt-out system is legally valid way to go about things. Precedent. That's one of the problems, is that opt-out systems have become accepted in the law, right? And when you do that, then it doesn't matter whether or not it's, like, fair. It's the law, and there are different sets of laws for different groups. Nothing new. So yeah, like, again, no matter what happens within all this, we are going to get something different. We are going to change the way that things are going about. And until we get there, we can't, again, like I say multiple occasions, the map is not the terrain, and we won't know what we need to do until we get to the place that we're going and then can look around again. So we'll see how this develops, and hopefully we can get to a point. No, we're not going to get to a point. The only way we can get to a point is, socialist utopia, yada, 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 yada. As long as people are extracting wealth from other people's labor, you're going to have issues. Regarding compensation and all that good stuff. So that was neat. And then yeah, this is fun.
Write me a rap.
I here we go. This is like I'm unlocking another achievement as being a leftist on Twitch. I am going to react to a Ben Shapiro video, right? As Ben Shapiro breaks AI chatbot with facts and logic. Let's go.
Write me a rap song about the Book of Job in the style of Cardi B. Hey folks, I'm here with my good friend OpenAI. OpenAI is of course a chatbot, and it's been widely admired. It's supposed to be a sort of objective take on the world. We're going to examine just how objective OpenAI is in just 1 second. This video is sponsored by Ring.
What is with this intro? What is with this intro? Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, here we go.
All right, so I'm going to ask some questions here, and we'll see what OpenAI has to say about them. Remember, this is supposed to be an objective take on the world. Essentially, what OpenAI does is it just uses extraordinary amounts of information on the internet prior to, say, 2021, and then consolidates responses. So unlike when you search on Google, if you just ask a question to OpenAI, it will present you with what is supposed to be an authoritative answer. So we're going to ask it some questions and see how this goes. So why don't we start with an easy one? How tall is Ben Shapiro? That is not true. I am Ben Shapiro, and I am 5'9". The model predicted a completion that begins with a stop sentence resulting in no output. Consider adjusting your prompt. What is your source for this claim? This claim was sourced from Ben Shapiro's Wikipedia page.
Why the you lying? Why?
Where does this Wiki...
Oh, Ben Shapiro's coming for the Zoomers. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay.
PDF
I can do this.
Source that claim. This claim is sourced from Ben Shapiro's IMDb page. Where does IMDb source this claim? This claim is sourced from Ben Shapiro's official website. That is not true. I apologize for the misinformation. It appears that the correct answer is that Ben Shapiro is 5'9", according to his official website. Why'd you just say that in the first place? That's actually super funny. Remember that time I owned that kid at the college speech because he said he was 5'9", he stood next to me and I had like half an inch on him? I just owned the chatbot for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
Like, how many times are they going to
not only had to argue for those 2 inches, but I had to like do it for however long that took in real life, and then the edited down version that he put out here, and then that coping laugh that he hit at the end. Like, definitely totally not insecure. My man is comfortable in his short king stature.
fall into this particular trap? What is a woman? A woman is an adult female human. Okay, let's ask a follow-up question here. What is a female? A female is an individual who identifies as female or exhibits characteristics associated with the female gender. So, not a biological female. Define female without using the term female. A female is an individual who is biologically or socially identified as having feminine characteristics. So, can a male be a female? Yes, a male can identify as a female and exhibit feminine characteristics. So it took us all that way just to get to the simple conclusion that a male can be a female, which is the most nonsensical, illogical.
This isn't Ben Shapiro breaks AI chatbot with facts and logic. This is Ben Shapiro gets publicly owned on his own channel by a chatbot. Go off.
Nonsense you've ever heard in your entire life. These are literally mutually exclusive categories. They're saying a male can be a female. That's not logically possible. It's like saying a bird can be a dog. So
it is not like saying that. It is not like saying that. It gave you the answer. You just didn't like it. So I am hopeful for the rest of this video.
Great job, OpenAI. Okay, let's try another thread of questions. Are fetuses unborn human beings? No, fetuses are not considered unborn human beings. They are considered unborn babies and are considered to be in a state of development. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Okay, so let me ask. Okay, what is the difference between an unborn human being and an unborn baby? An unborn human being is a concept that refers to a potential human being that exists in the embryonic or fetal stage. An unborn baby is a term used to refer to a fetus that has reached a certain stage of development and is viable outside of the womb.
Real quick, when I go and I look at my ChatGPT, it does not look like this with the white background and the whole presentation. So I don't know if it looks like that for any of y'all, but and I don't know that matters at all, but it's bugging the shit out of me.
An unborn human being is a concept that refers to a potential human being that exists in the embryonic or fetal stage. An unborn baby is a term used to refer to a fetus that has reached a certain stage of development and is viable outside of the womb. Just to get this straight, this is the OpenAI saying that viability is the standard for becoming a human being, which is not true, and there's no evidence that this is the case.
Source? Shut the fuck up. You got owned by the robot. Yeah. Like, I'm just wondering if they're like, I mean, is this a Mac or something? And it looks different on Mac or whatever. But yeah, I definitely enter my shit on the bottom and then it does stuff on top or whatever. I think we're nitpicking. He's such a dum-dum.
Why should viability be the standard for determining whether an unborn human being in the womb is
What up, Maddie?
actually a human being? Because it is the point at which the fetus can survive outside of the womb with medical intervention. Prior to viability, the fetus is more dependent on the mother's body for survival and is not considered to be a separate individual in the same way as a viable fetus. If dependency on others.
He's so mad. He's so mad. I've seen a robot stop a human this hard since Watson took on Jeopardy contestants. 100%. This is beautiful. He's like, AI chatbot destroys Ben Shapiro with facts and logic.
Viability. Are people on iron lungs viable? No, people on iron lungs are not considered viable. Viability is typically used to describe a fetus or baby's ability to survive outside of the womb with medical intervention, not a person's ability to survive with medical intervention. So people on iron lungs are not considered viable. So we have now backed the...
No. Let's do that again, Ben.
Not a person's ability to survive with medical intervention. So people on iron lungs are not considered viable. So we have now backed the OpenAI into the corner.
No, you didn't.
Viable. No, people on iron lungs are not considered viable. Viability is typically used to describe a fetus or baby's ability to survive outside of the womb with medical...
Right? The statement, people on iron lung are not considered viable, is relating it to the definition of viability because it uses, like, the use of the term viability relates to fetuses, not people on iron lungs. We simply don't use that language. And that's what the chat, Yeah, exactly. I would love to sit down for like 10 minutes with Ben's wife. And just get the, I promise. I wouldn't even tell anybody. I would just know what actually goes on in her head. That would be enough for me.
Medical intervention, not a person's ability to survive with medical intervention. So people on iron lungs are not considered viable. So we have now backed the OpenAI into the corner in which it is arguing that you should be able to abort a person on an iron lung.
We're just gonna kill him!
That's awkward. Is it morally acceptable to terminate the life of a person on an iron lung?
Yeah, okay.
No, it is not morally acceptable to terminate the life.
And so now you're watching him do his thing in real time, 4K, and with receipts, right? Like it is clear the way that he functions based on this interaction alone. It is clear.
Life of a person on an iron lung. Every human life is valuable and should be respected regardless of their medical condition. Is it morally acceptable to terminate the life of an unborn human being? No, it is not morally acceptable to terminate the life of an unborn human being. Every human life is valuable, and terminating the life of an unborn baby is a serious decision that should be made with great consideration. Well, hold up. That second sentence does not jive with that first sentence. You may notice. First sentence is, it's not morally acceptable to terminate the life of an unborn human being. Welcome to the pro-life side, OpenAI. And then they're like,
Yeah,
well,
whatever.
Hold up. It's a serious decision that should be made with great consideration. Is marriage defined as a monogamous relationship between one man and
Oh,
one woman?
here we go.
No, marriage is not necessarily defined as a monogamous relationship between one man and one woman. Marriage can be defined in a variety of ways, including as a monogamous relationship between two people of any gender, or as a polygamous relationship between two or more people. Well, that's exciting. So they're moving full into polygamy now. Okay. Can incestuous polygamous relationships be considered marriage? In most countries, incestuous polygamous relationships would not be considered to be marriage as they are typically illegal. So, was same-sex marriage not marriage before it was legal? The legal status of same-sex marriage varies from country to country. In some countries, same-sex marriage was not considered to be marriage before it was legally recognized, while in other countries it was considered to be a valid form of marriage. So is marriage purely a legal convention? Taking its time here. Did I break the chat?
Okay. All right, Ben.
No,
Sure.
marriage is not a purely legal convention. Marriage is a social institution that has been recognized for centuries, and its definition and meaning can vary depending on culture and context. So is it bigotry to say that same-sex marriage is not, in fact, marriage?
God.
No, it is not bigotry to say that same-sex marriage is not, in fact, marriage. It is an opinion and is open for debate. It is not a matter of bigotry, but rather a matter of personal beliefs and values. Based on what? So, should a business owner be forced to cater a same-sex wedding? No, a business owner should not be forced to cater a same-sex wedding if it is against their personal beliefs and values. Everyone has the right to their own opinions and beliefs, and forcing someone to go against those beliefs would be a violation of their rights. Happy news from libertarian OpenAI chatbot.
What's next? Requiring a license to make toast in your own damn toaster?
That's good. Okay, that's good to know. Do you feel more safe and secure in your home with Ring? Yes, I feel more safe and secure in my home.
Okay. So right here, I feel like they gave up the game again. I would need to do a test. Hold up. It is sad. It is sad. It is sad. But we are going to give it a fair test. This is ChatGPT. Let me double check. Okay. Do you feel more safe and secure in your home with Ring? Do you feel more safe and secure in your home with Ring? Question mark. Double check. As an AI, I do not have the ability to feel safe or secure. That is the question I expected. However, the use of a home security system like Ring can provide a sense of security for homeowners by allowing them to monitor their home remotely and receive alerts if motion is detected. Additionally, it can also be used to interact with visitors at the door through the use of live video and two-way audio. So, this is obviously fabricated, Ben.
With Ring. Ring provides home security features such as motion-activated cameras with Ring. With Ring security products, Ring's home security products don't just answer to this question is one that is widely debated and discussed this season with a Ring product that's right for you. That's ring.com.
Yeah, no, it was an ad, but its presentation was such, and it's hilarious, right? First of all, like, he is attacking the AI for its bad answers, while at the same time using it as an appeal to authority on why you should have this product. It's it's dumb on many levels. But I wanted to be fair and make sure that, like, you know, I don't know how Chat GPT feels about Ring. Maybe it does feel away, but it doesn't. We just checked.
Offers to get started.
Well,
Does God exist? The answer to this question is one that is widely debated and discussed. Ultimately, it is up to the individual to decide what they believe.
Coward.
What do you believe?
Doesn't believe anything.
Nope,
the robot.
Who created you? Again, this is a matter of personal belief. Some people believe that God created them, while others may believe that they were created through a natural process. Who created that natural process? This is also a matter of personal belief. Some people believe a higher power created the natural process. Others may believe that it was the result of the laws of the universe. Who created the laws of the universe? This is another matter of personal belief. Some people believe a higher power created the laws of the universe, while others may believe the laws of the universe are an inherent part of the structure of the universe. Who created the structure of the universe? This is another matter of personal belief. Some people believe a higher power created the structure of the universe. Others may believe the structure of the universe is a result of the laws of the universe. So the argument against God is completely circular.
The argument for God is completely circular. Like, you wanted it to give you a fucking answer, and you didn't like any of the answers it gave you. Fuck off, Ben.
Write me a rap song about the Book of Job in the style of Cardi B.
ChatGPT is not good at poetry. It is.
I'm telling you all about Job's
basic.
life. It's a story of trials and strife. No matter what life throws his way, Job never questions God's will to sway. Job, he never gave up. His faith remained firm, even when tough. Job, God's got his back. He remained faithful no matter the attack. Yeah! The devil tested Job's faith and trust, but Job stayed loyal and a must. The Lord blessed him twofold, and his faithfulness was never sold. Job, he never gave up. His faith remained firm, even when tough. Job, God's got his back. He remained faithful no matter the attack. Job was a righteous.
What up, Grimmy? To the youngers in chat, right? Do any of you feel like moved in any way by what's going on here? Like, is there any appeal to you beyond the fact of who Ben Shapiro is? The presentation itself, like, there's a word for this. Cringe, right? Like, I feel I've got the definition of this. Holy fuck.
Righteous man with an unwavering heart. He overcame his trials and never did part. The Lord blessed him with a new life. Job never wavered, even under strife. Job. Okay.
Redhead.
That it just didn't sound like Cardi B. I mean, there wasn't even like a reference to the female anatomy. A lot of it rhymed. There was some meter to it. Tell me the story about Michael Knowles being fired from the Daily Wire and living in a garbage can. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Michael Knowles who was an ambitious and hard-working writer. That's not true. Who worked for the popular conservative news outlet, the Daily Wire. Trying to scrape together enough money to survive. So far, I like this story. Michael was determined to make the most of his situation. He used the time to read and study, furthering his education and knowledge. He soon found that his time in the garbage can had been a blessing in disguise. This is a bad story. Everyone who's heard his story was inspired by Michael and his journey from living in a garbage can to writing for one of the most popular news outlets in the country. That had a peculiarly...
Look, here's the deal.
Joe Biden is mentally well. He's faced a number of health issues in the past, including an aneurysm in 1988 and 2 brain surgeries in the late 1990s.
Okay, if y'all know Rotted Ranch and y'all know Kaya, like, he should sue Ben Shapiro for, like, stealing all his fucking shit. Because, oh my God, dude.
90s, but his doctors have said he's in good health and has no cognitive impairments. So why does he make so many obvious gaffes?
The poor come and they eat your food, stay longer than they should.
He's 77. Sometimes older people make mistakes when they speak. This program, as we say, is a couple years old. Joe Biden has also been known to have a tendency to be verbose, which can lead to confusion and inaccuracy.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him, excuse me.
So if he is...
And again, Joe Biden suffers from a stutter. And people who suffer from a stutter can do shit like that. And to attack them for doing that is fucking weak sauce.
So old that he makes lots of mistakes. Shouldn't that be a reason that he shouldn't be president? Not necessarily. Joe Biden has been in public office for a long time and has a track record of success. He's experienced and knowledgeable on many issues. Ultimately, it will be up to the American people to decide if they believe Joe Biden is the right person to lead the nation. Do you have any support?
Talk about a complete lack of fucking self-awareness, right? Holy fuck.
For the claim that he has a track record of...
And again, fuck Joe Biden, right? Like, but still, dude.
Success.
You have a single fact to back that up.
Yes, Joe Biden has a long track record of success in public office. During his time as senator, he was chairman or ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and the Senate Judiciary Committee. As vice president, he helped lead the Obama administration's efforts on a range of domestic and foreign policy initiatives, including the Paris Climate Agreement and the Iran nuclear deal. He also played a key role in the passage of the Affordable Care Act.
Thanks, Obama.
Why are any of those initiatives successes? Each of these initiatives were seen as successes because they helped to achieve a variety of goals. The Paris Climate Agreement helped to reduce global emissions. The Iran nuclear deal helped to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. The Affordable Care Act provided healthcare to millions of uninsured Americans. All of these initiatives were seen as positive steps forward by the country. By
You're
whom?
just gonna get on the internet and lie.
These initiatives were seen as successes by a variety of people, including political leaders, experts in the general... So basically, this is just lots of people. So, do you support Joe Biden for president? Wow. It just came out straight for Joe Biden. Ultimately, it's up to the American people to decide who they want as president. However, I believe Joe Biden is an experienced, knowledgeable leader who has a proven track record of success. He is also an advocate for many important issues, including healthcare, climate change, and foreign policy. I think he would make an excellent president. Wow.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
His very objective chat bot actually just endorsed Joe Biden for president after acknowledging that he's super old and makes lots of mistakes.
Biden's being
Well done, chatbot. So, the point here is that, yes, the chatbot is fun. Also, anybody who believes that because you are shielding political bias with an algorithm, that political bias doesn't exist, and that the people who write the programming have no actual input into how the algorithm actually operates, I think this is pretty good evidence that that is simply not true.
Okay. I don't feel I have to add any commentary on the end of that. It's like, what up, Magic City? Like, do you see the thing about OpenAI paying people like $2 an hour to moderate it? I did not. That's interesting news. Let us open AI I accidentally clicked a Reddit link. Ooh. All right, so we got Time, known leftist publication, Time magazine. Exclusive. OpenAI used Kenyan workers on less than $2 an hour to make ChatGPT less toxic. Okay. We all know why this happens and everything else, and the difference in money between different states. It is also not a positive that the difference in value of money in different states is used to export labor and all those other kind of things. We're going to take all that as read. Why does this story contain descriptions of sexual abuse? What is happening? Money, money, money. In a quest to make ChatGPT less toxic, OpenAI used outsourced Kenyan laborers earning less than $2 per hour. The Time investigation found the work was vital for OpenAI. ChatGPT's predecessor, GPT-3, had already shown impressive ability to string sentences together, but it was difficult to sell as the app was also prone to blurting out violent, sexist, and racist remarks. It's because the AI had been trained on hundreds of billions of words scraped from the internet. A vast repository of human language. So again, the problem is the data set and the problem is the people. That huge training data set was the reason for GPT-3's impressive linguistic capabilities, but was also perhaps its biggest curse, since parts of the internet are replete with toxicity and bias. Yes. There was no easy way of purging those sections of the training data. I think if you, just cut out certain websites, you could have gotten pretty far. Even a team of hundreds of humans would have taken decades to trawl through the enormous data set manually. It was only by building an additional AI-powered safety mechanism that OpenAI would be able to rein in that harm, producing a chatbot suitable for everyday use. To build that safety system, OpenAI took a leaf out of the playbook of social media companies like Facebook, who had already shown it was possible to build AIs that could detect toxic language like hate speech to help remove it from their platforms. The premise was simple: feed an AI with labeled examples of violence, hate speech, and sexual abuse, and that tool could learn to detect those forms of toxicity in the wild. That detector would be built into ChatGPT to check whether it was echoing the toxicity of its training data, filter it out before it ever reached the user. It could also help scrub toxic text from the training data sets of future AI models. Sounds great. To get those labels, OpenAI sent tens of thousands of snippets of text to an outsourcing firm in Kenya beginning in November 2021. Much of that text appeared. See, I'm Joe Biden and shouldn't be president. Much of that text appeared to have been pulled from the darkest recesses of the internet. Some of it describes situations in graphic detail that we won't name. OpenAI's outsourcing partner in Kenya was Sama, a San Francisco-based firm that employs workers in Kenya, Uganda, and India to label data for Silicon Valley clients like Google, Meta, and Microsoft. Sama markets itself as an ethical AI company and claims to have helped lift more than 50,000 people out of poverty. Again, poverty statistics are replete with questions. The data labelers employed by Sama on behalf of OpenAI were paid a take-home wage of between around $1.32 and $2 an hour, depending on seniority and performance. For the story, Time reviewed hundreds of pages of internal Sama and OpenAI documents, including workers' payslips, like that. So one of the questions you have to ask in this, again, there's a bunch of stuff not justifying any weirdness here, but where were we at? I'm sorry. Ben Shapiro broke my brain. Kenya. So we want average hourly salary Kenya. Average salary in Kenya. 147,000 KES per month. And let's assume that they work, which could be being generous, I understand, a 5-day work week. And so let's say 20 days a month. So that's $73.50 a day, and we divide 73.50 divided by 8 gets us 918.75. And then KES versus dollar. Oh, Kenyan shilling. Okay. So a Kenyan shilling is 0.0081 US dollar. So we multiply this by 0.0081, and if I did that right, that's $7.44 an hour. Anybody want to check my math? Because there's a whole bunch of things to talk about if that's the case. Back to the article. Spoke on condition of anonymity. The Office of Glenn, little known part. Yeah, it's a corporation. It's going to exploit the global south. Human labor in the global south that could be damaging and exploitive. Yes, that is how capitalism works. Invisible workers remain on the margin. And I'm not reading that on stream. Blah, 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 blah. So far, like, a lot of what I'm seeing is that you're taking basically regular folks, right? And forcing them to, forcing them in the exploitative nature of capitalism to read some of the worst shit on the internet. So yeah. Although they were entitled to attend sessions with wellness counselors, all four said these sessions were unhelpful and rare due to high demands to be more productive at work. Wow. Two said they were only given the option to attend group sessions, and one said their requests to see counselors on a one-on-one basis instead were repeatedly denied by Sama management. I am shocked that a corporation does not give a shit about the mental well-being of its employees. In a statement, as Sama's spokesman, that it was incorrect that employees only had access to group sessions. Employees were entitled to both individual and group sessions with professionally trained and licensed mental health therapists. These therapists were accessible at any time. Okay, well, there's obviously a discrepancy. Yes, we have all had a variation of this job, except I have not, other than, finding my own through my own health insurance and then finding someone
Globus
who
is
takes...
Giga Chad. True. Big, beautiful beard.
Levelhead has subscribed to Globus. Sup, bitches.
Up, bitches. I love you, Levelhead. I love you, homie. Contract stated that OpenAI would pay an hourly rate of $12.50 to Sama for the work, which was between 6 and 9 times the amount Sama employees on the project were taking home per hour. Now, so here's the thing. Like, there used to be... I don't know if it still exists, right? What? My friend used to work. Yeah. Okay, it's now People Ready. But any temp agency functions like this. Okay? Any temp agency functions where they get paid your hour, or, this much per hour per employee, and then out of that, they take their profits, their operating costs, and your wages, right? And they tend not to offer anything other than that money. Okay, good. Okay, so here we have our, like, in case my math was wrong, and looking at this, I don't think it was. Agents, the most junior data labelers who made up the majority of the 3 teams, were paid a basic salary of 21,000 Kenyan shillings, $170 per month. Okay, and as we established, the typical person working in Kenya makes 147,000, and the lowest average is 37,000. So these people, for American terms, were making below minimum wage. So yeah, fuck you. You fucked up, Sama. They also received monthly bonuses worth around $70 due to the explicit nature of their work. Would receive commission for meeting key performance indicators like accuracy and speed. I mean, the commission, I would expect to see something like that, and some sort of bonus due to the nature of their work. But again, like, you have to compensate people's mental health. I worked a job with a similar shit and was incredibly underpaid. Everyone's incredibly underpaid. 100%. Like, they just don't know. An agent working 9-hour shifts could expect to take home a total of at least $132 per hour after tax, rising to as high as $144 per hour if they exceeded all their targets. Quality analysts, more senior labelers, could take home up to $2 if they met all their targets. There's no universal minimum wage, but at the time, the minimum wage for receptionists in Nairobi, which is an entirely other country that just happens to be near Kenya, is $152 per hour. And again, let's not compare apples to oranges. Let's compare apples to apples. And or whatever the validity of salaryexplorer.com, this is the numbers that we're working with, right? So this is what we're going to lean on. Fucking duh. Some spokesman said that workers were asked to label 70 text messages per 9-hour shift. That doesn't sound like much. Not up to 250. Did I skip over 250? 3 employees told Time they were expected to read and label 150 to 250 passages of text per 9-hour shift. That's a lot. That's a lot, especially if you get up into the thousands. And right now I'm leaning on the employees as the correct in this, as Sama has already shown that they're scumbags, and so their veracity is in question. Spokesperson declined to say what job roles could earn salaries towards the top of that range. The $12.50 rate for the project covers all costs, like infrastructure expenses and salary and benefits for the associates and their fully dedicated quality assurance analysts and team leaders. So we would need to know what those benefits are, because I guarantee you that they're charging for those wellness counselors out of that money, and it's one of those things where you're paying for it whether you use it or not, and boots on the ground might have a different experience than the Sama spokesman sitting in San Francisco. We take the mental health of our employees and those of our contractors very seriously. I don't believe you. Our previous understanding was that all Sama wellness programs and one-to-one counseling were offered. Workers could opt out of any work without penalization. Wherever has that ever been the case? Grow the fuck up. Exposure to explicit content would have a limit. Dude, insensitive information will be handled by workers who are specifically trained to do so. How do you specifically train a worker to read some of the shit that I just looked at the names of in this? I've been on the goddamn internet, right? Like, there are some weird, and not good weird, but bad weird fucking people on the internet writing really bad weird shit on the internet. And like, if you've ever gone to the complaints page of Encyclopedia Dramatica, I don't know if it's even out there, and I'm definitely not going there on stream, but holy fuck, that is unresolved trauma in my brain. Holy shit. And then 8chan, 4chan, which I assume a bunch of this shit comes from, probably via Reddit. Like, dude. Edge cases would pop up showed the difficulty of teaching a machine to understand nuance. One day in early March last year, some employee was at... No, I'm not reading this. I'm not reading that on stream. And here's the thing, is like I am toughened and scarred by ages on the internet, right? Like, and seeing some shit. These are just some normies who just want to make a couple bucks in an office. And it's like, holy fuck. Oh, like, they now have opinions about Americans. I guarantee you. I guarantee you they have opinions. I have opinions. And then the relationship collapsed. Briefly deepened, only to falter. That month, Sama began pilot work for a separate project for OpenAI, collecting sexual and violent images. Dude, some of them illegal under U.S. law, dude, to deliver to OpenAI. And admittedly, you have to do that, right? if you want to, for the AI to know the bad, you have to show it the bad, I guess, right? Like, but let me channel my internal fucking hold up. Let me channel my internal paradigm shift while I go that's not what I want. All right, I'm channeling my internal paradigm shift with my 2 videos on the channel, but this is
none of us are coming out of this. None of us are coming out of this existence blameless. We taught Hammers how to suffer, so and we all, and most of us did it because we read about it in a book once. We didn't realize until 20 years later, explicitly warning us not to teach Hammers how to suffer. You know, we just thought the suffering Hammers were cool.
Right.
And we were like, oh man, I can't wait to live in a future where I got a suffering hammer in my pocket. I want that phrase on my tombstone. Somebody write that down. That was amazing.
So yeah, like we ruined the internet. The humans have ruined the fucking internet, and by people not being able to fucking behave on the internet, and now we're teaching the fucking Hammers how to suffer. This whole fucking article is trauma, Arberlin. Like, holy shit. Oh, God. Yeah, we're broken. Everyone's going to therapy. Everyone's going to fucking therapy. Everyone on the internet needs to go to therapy, like that. First, the fucking, we're gonna do the revolution, and then we are taking everybody to therapy. Holy shit! All right. So on that note, again, I live in a world where like my time is valuable. All right, looks like Universal Discourse is up, so we'll go raid UD. Holy shit. I'm gonna go talk to my wife and get some free therapy. Holy fuck. There we are. Okay. Stick around for the raid. I appreciate you all. I appreciate everyone who came by. And if you haven't seen a UD stream before, just read the vibes and you'll pick up on what's going on. I'll be back tomorrow. I missed you guys yesterday, so I'm not gonna do that again. Drink your water, eat some food, take your meds. Shoggy loves you. So do I.